Good evening and welcome to the public hearing for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It is August 8th, 2019. It is 6:30. Call the public hearing to order. First order of business, we have public hearing on ordinance 2019-32, an ordinance to amend the Laverne zoning ordinance to increase the allowed building height in certain zoning districts. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on June 25th, 2019. This was properly advertised in the Murfreesboro Post on Tuesday, July 9th, 2019. If anybody would like to come forward and speak on this ordinance, please come up to the podium and state your name and address. Anybody would like to come up and speak on this? Seeing nobody, I'm moving on to number 2, ordinance 2019-33, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 28, parcel 1.01, consisting of approximately 9.5 acres located between Sanford Road and Cheney Boulevard, adjacent to 197 Sanford Road, from an A agricultural zoning district to a R3 high-density residential zoning district. Again, this was properly advertised in the Murfreesboro Post. That was on July 9th, 2019. If anybody would like to comment on that, please come to the podium, state your name and address. Again, if anybody would like to come forward and speak on this. Seeing nobody, I'm going to call this public hearing closed, and we will adjourn till 7 o'clock when the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting starts. Good evening and welcome to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting for August 8th, 2019. It is 7 p.m. Call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. The prayer will be with Commissioner Wayne Blair, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be with Alderman Church. Everyone please stand for the prayer and pledge.
Good evening, Mayor and Board, and grateful to be with you this evening, and God bless you all for serving. Let's bow together. Dear Father in heaven, we bow before your majesty, and we thank you, Father, for your love, grace, and mercy. Father, we thank you for the blessings you continually share with us, and Father, we thank you for your Son who was sacrificed for us. Father, we pray your blessings on all that are attending here tonight, and Father, we pray for our city leaders as they meet and they make decisions that affect our community. Father, we pray your special blessings on the men and women that are in foreign fields and our armed forces that put themselves in harm's way defending our freedom. Father, we are grateful for our first responders that are on duty every hour of every day for our safety, and we ask your blessings on them. Father, we pray that you would guide us in all that we do, that we may always do your good will, and please forgive us. In your precious Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. It's the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order of business. Need a motion to approve the minutes from the July 2nd, 2019 regular meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion. Need a second. I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to presentations. If I could have Commander Paul Trickey come forward. Welcome, Commander.
Thank you.
We want to recognize the Nashville Metro Police Department for their continued partnership and collaboration with Laverne. We've had several incidences, one or two that I can think of off the top of my head recently. And in each case, those individuals were captured. And that was through a unique partnership that we've got with Metro Nashville and Laverne. So we wanted to thank y'all with that. Before I present this, Chief, do you want to say anything?
Only that Metro Nashville Police Department is an awesome partner. And I can't say enough. I'll call him Paul, Commander Tricky. I told Paul earlier, the relationship is just awesome. Our detectives and their South Precinct detectives particularly, and their officers too. But on that one day, it was amazing because you all had your own issues for the funeral of Officer John Anderson. And one of the first things that I saw when I pulled up just a few minutes after that event had calmed down just a little was a young man in his Class A with his shiny shoes and his tie. And he was standing there with his vest thrown over with a rifle around his neck. And he was standing there. He turned around. He heard it and turned around and came there. That meant a lot for that young officer to be there and going to assist another one, no matter who it was. So thank you and everybody at Metro Nashville Police Department. It's a great organization and some really good people. I've known since '83 off and on how well the relationships are, and thank you.
So this is the Certificate of Appreciation is hereby granted to Metro Nashville Police Department for your assistance in apprehending a suspect who led our officers on a high-speed pursuit before opening fire on our officers and endangering the lives of his children. We appreciate the work and cooperation between the two departments and are proud to serve alongside you to protect and serve those in our communities.
Thank you.
Picture.
Anytime you don't say it. Actually, I like it when he can't come, so I got you. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to invite up Representative Sparks, State Senator Don White, Representative Charlie Baum, Commissioner Gammon. Y'all can come up, and I believe y'all have a presentation as well.
If we'll have Alderman No and Alderman Church come up, please. And to Alderman Church, I'm here today to present to you where you have completed the Elected Officials Academy. And, I just want to personally thank you. When you run for office, you give up a lot of time, a lot of family time, a lot of your business time, and for the betterment of a city and to continue your education. And these classes are so important for elected officials because you get to meet other people from around the state that also serve as mayor, aldermen, and council members, and you get to learn. And for you, Alderman Church, and exactly the same thing for you, Alderman No, you're giving up a lot of your time. You're giving up a lot of family time. I know you're here where you could be doing other things, and for the betterment of Laverne and to make Laverne a better place. And you also completed the class as well. So thank you so much for giving your time to make the city of Laverne a better place for all the citizens involved.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mayor, if I could say something. The other day, I'm really proud of this town. My dad lived here 30 years. I worked at Whirlpool. David Gammon and I worked at Whirlpool together. I had a hard job. He had an easy job. He was the fire chief back in the day. But we had hosted Minister Xu, is her name, the Chinese minister, the third top diplomat in the Chinese embassy out of D.C. And Dr. Ming Wang asked us to co-host it. And the mayor, Jason Cole, Alderman Brown, Alderman Calvin Jones, Alderman Matt Church, Steve, you had a prior engagement. But I want to tell you how proud I was of this town. And one reason it made me proud is I care about this community. My dad lived here for many years. He's passed on now. Worked here as a kid. Got my first ticket on Waldron Road the day I got my driver's license that night, sadly. But I was so proud of y'all to be there because many people may not know in Laverne, we've got the largest investment from a Chinese company. It's over at Sinomax, which is the pillow company. And I think Walmart committed a $250 million investment of buying their products. And y'all were able to sit with the Sinomax officials. And I can tell you, those Chinese officials, when they were up there, I kept hearing them say, Laverne, 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 Tennessee. And U.S.-China relationships is something we all should be concerned about. There's 80 companies that are invested in Tennessee, and you happen to have the largest one right here at Laverne at the old plant that Dave and I once worked at. So I want to thank the mayor and Matt Church and others for y'all being there and y'all working so well together that night. Okay. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Representative Sparks.
Can you get us all in here?
Once you get in by Matt. There we go. That's who we're on.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Mayor, I got my first ticket on Waldron Road as well.
Hopefully no more.
No more.
I'm good. How are you, Charlie? Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Moving on to department reports. Fire Department, Chief Clark.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. As you can see, I broke down some our response for the month of July. 252 calls for the total month. But also I'd like to add that during that month, we've had several classes that have been going on from fire instructor 2 to building construction classes, EVOC, which is emergency vehicle operations. We've developed a new exposure control plan, respiratory protection program, and also participated in some our new ESO report management system. I'd like to say that hopefully by September the 1st, ESO will go live, and it will be a huge benefit to our personnel in tracking data as well as providing information of what we're using here in Laverne. So we can gather trends on fires to medical reports such as that. And I'd also like to add that we're getting close to the end on the fire side as far as our active threat training. So you're going to see some more different fire trucks here in town that we've worked together to make that happen, to send our guys to school without utilizing an abundance of overtime. We also have placed 3 EMTs in EMT class in Murfreesboro, and hopefully they will graduate toward the end of September. They will pick back up and move forward from there to go to their advanced level. Are there any questions?
Chief, y'all participated this past week with National Night Out.
We did.
And do you want to talk about what all y'all did as far as y'all's activities?
During the National Night Out, we participated with the police department, hosted a great function. We were proud to be part of that, along with providing some fire safety tips. We provided an agility test for the children and the adults to get to experience some of the, the agilities of our work. And so they got to don their coats, SCBAs, or their air packs and helmets, and they took off and be able to pull, tug, some weight, and I got to experience what we do in the field. And that's just a small taste of it. And then we were able to, again, beat the police department in softball. Again. So we appreciate it. Sorry. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Also like to, and I'm sure Chief Walker will talk about our car hop that we're participating in, and send the kids back to school supplies. That's going strong, and then we'll have another come Saturday night, 6 o'clock. We'll be providing that over at Sonic, so we're looking forward to that as well.
Hey, Chief, I have a comment. The Explorers looked pretty strong the other night at National Night Out.
They did.
You had there was 25 of them at least, and the activities that they were doing.
And they manned our booth. They helped with several different things that are going on out there, which I'll be honest with you, they participated in those areas, but also allowed some of our full-time employees to be able to participate in the softball game, which is huge. So experience. And we greatly appreciate it, and we are growing some great potential and hopefully fulfill their dream and careers as they grow older.
And just for the record, while we were all out in the heat, the chief was in the command center in the air conditioner when Life Flight was landing. He gave me a tour of the hazmat, the new command center. We converted our old hazmat trailer to a multi-use command center for the county and area-wide. Pretty impressive. He was controlling the camera as the bird flew in, and he was zoning over the crowd, and it was impressive to have a tool like that here in Laverne.
Thank you.
So,
any other questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Police Department, Chief Walker.
After one of those comments, I normally would have probably been talking when I first got up, but I wanted to be sure it was on the record. We don't sit at the PD and wait on somebody to call us and then go and respond. And we don't have the ability to take a nap or cook a big supper, etc., because our folks are running call to call to call. So we don't have the practice time that fire has. I just want to make that clear.
Chief, if I may, I was just bragging on you guys about 10 minutes ago about how well police and fire get along. So please,
we do.
Please continue to.
We do. I love him. He's my brother.
We can tell.
Well, y'all know he's part of us too.
Yes.
You know, he is.
SWAT.
He is the best SWAT medic that I've ever seen in my life. He's very, very good at both things.
So the shirt that I seen the other day was real women marry policemen, the rest were marry firemen.
I didn't post that.
No, but I seen it.
I only heard about it after the fact when someone at my house told me about it, and I said, "Did you really do that?" She said, "I sure did." I said, "Well, you married one that's both." So, you know, I started fighting fire before I became law enforcement. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. The computer with TBI aggravated me a little bit today, so there's some issues. But if you'll look at that first slide there, last year through July, from January 1 through July 31, we had 25,665 calls for service. And this year, 29,507. That's actually a little over 3,800 more this year than last year for the same period, and is a 15% increase. And those are, once again, total calls for service. Go ahead. The next sheet gives you information on the total Group A crimes that have been reported, and also there's some information there on Group B arrests as well. But everything there, if you'll take a look across the board, there's another sheet in just a minute we'll get to that will show you a little bit more. That table, actually drawing down the TIBERS or NIBERS data, you can see the areas where there have been increases and decreases since last year on a month-to-month basis. And if you look at January, February, they were pretty well the same. They were down. But then March, it rose. And then April, it dropped. Then in May, it rose. June, it dropped. And July. Now, I don't know if it's, January's got 31 days and they dropped. I don't understand why the others didn't. I guess it's because of the weather and the warmer weather that's coming out. Now, there is a table that I finally got to act right and got it to print, but you've been provided a printed copy, or better have, because I asked Lieutenant Cowell to do that for us. And anyone in the audience is more than welcome to pick up a copy if you'd actually like to see it. But the Group A crimes through July of this year compared to last year have decreased a total of 21.5%. There are some that have increased that concern us. Some of the sexual crimes, some of the property crimes have decreased. If you look down in the green near the bottom of it, the theft from motor vehicles, which is where they open a door and steal something, have decreased slightly, 16.5%, but it was still 91 of them compared to 108 last year for the period. We can't say enough. Do the 9 p.m. routine, please. Take all the valuables out of your vehicle, lock it up, and don't leave them out there for someone to just come by. You all see it all the time. You see the ring videos. You see the videos from homes where people are coming, and they're moving around all over Middle Tennessee. One night, a couple of months ago, we had some reported in the Vineyard. We saw the video the next morning, and then right behind it was video of Clarksville. It was the same people dressed in the same clothing with the same vehicle, it looked like, that had left here, and 2 hours after that they were in Clarksville doing the same thing. So please help us out if you can. National Night Out was a success. We had a really good crowd. There were some of the most polite kids that came by and talked to us. I don't know if that's because we gave away a lot of pencils and Frisbees and so on and so forth, but parents too. And one of the things that really tickled me to death was we had a tremendous number of parents who took advantage of us giving them the free fingerprint kits to document information and to keep and print their children in the event something did occur, unfortunately, with a child missing. That can be very, very important as long as that child's alive, because the prints don't change. Very, very little do they change. But thank you to everyone. Thank you to Fire. They've been a great partner. Thank you to all the other departments who came and worked and helped set up and participated and had booths. Thank you to all the churches that were there, civic organizations. We had Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. They enjoyed the jump houses, that's for sure. There were little folks over there constantly bouncing and running and having a good time. But it was a really good event, and we appreciate everybody's support. On Saturday, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., I will not wear roller skates. I'm too old to do that. If I fall, I'll be a whole lot like one old alderman that's not a whole lot younger than me. I'm liable to break a hip. And I don't know how long the recovery would be, and I might starve to death at my house if I'm not up cooking. But we're going to be there. We're going to be curb hopping, And Summer Williams took over for her mom, Debbie, when Debbie retired, and Summer said, can we help? Can we do this? And you all know we do it every year at Christmas for kids and seniors. And we're doing it for our school supplies to take to each of our 4 elementary schools in the city, along with our Laverne High School CDC class, who are very special friends to all of us. August the 16th, I found out just shortly before this meeting, I received an email at Cane Ridge Park, beginning about 7:30 a.m., the National Special Olympics Softball Championship will begin. At 7:30, they'll have the torch run there, which has been adopted by law enforcement throughout the country. Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police have supported it for many, many years. And Chief Joe Casey, who's retired chief at Metro Nashville Police Department, I can tell you Joe is 93 years old. He was my daddy's age. They were within just a few weeks of each other with their birthdays. And I saw him when we were in Chattanooga. And he said, you gonna come see me? I said, yes, sir, I'll come see you. I guarantee you I will. But he's going to be there and throw out the first pitch, good Lord willing, and his health does well. But anyone that's interested and wants to go over and cheer these kids on and root for them, they'll be there August the 16th for the softball Special Olympics. I've said enough. I'll sit down and shut up unless somebody's got a question.
Chief, yes, sir, I have a comment. The horrific event that took place in Antioch with Lieutenant Goins came out on the good side of that.
Yes, sir.
And as a city, being in law enforcement, the effects of that, or do we have plenty of support surrounding him and his family?
Yes.
For something like that?
Yes. He's got no God loves on him every day. And we were there with him last week for the preliminary, and the young man was bound over on everything that was there. And it's a really good case. Metro Nashville did an excellent job going through it and working everything. It was in their jurisdiction. Ordinarily, we would not be able to release the video, and I'm so thankful that they were able to release it because people actually got to see what transpired.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people didn't understand it and made comments on social media, and I refrained from responding to some of those. But if you watch it and you look at it, it's very obvious that the young man is shooting through his windshield of his car into Lieutenant Goins' vehicle. And there are a lot of things there, Chris will tell you, even though he's sitting here, I don't want to.
No, he's
very
out.
well, he left. Chris will tell you why he came out of the vehicle like he did, why he wasn't hit, why he didn't come up shooting back at that vehicle, because that's training. Come back and return fire. He didn't. He came out of it. Angie will tell you, though, she thinks someone pushed him out of that car. That's what it looks like to her. He came out. He went down on the ground, rolled a couple of times and got up and went around, checked, then came up some and then checked again, and that's when the young man started getting out of the car. And then as he ran, if you watch it closely, you see the young man with that short rifle, which some call pistol, .223. Every time he's running, he's swinging that arm back, and every time he comes back with it, he's firing around, back toward Lieutenant Goins and Sergeant Watson. And we're very blessed that both of them were taken care of. And I assure you, I don't hide my faith from anyone. I don't push my faith on anyone, but I'll be honest with you. I probably said, thank you, Lord, more times than you can imagine since that day. I lost one in January '07 on my watch, and I don't need to lose another one. And I'm so thankful that both of them are okay, and I'm extremely thankful those 3 children that idiot chose to put in that situation were not harmed.
If you would just let Lieutenant Goins and Sergeant Watson know that the community is blessed to have them as officers.
You're exactly right. I agree wholeheartedly. They both used a lot of refrain, even though there were shots fired back, and there were some that did hit that house. What was sad is the lady in the house allegedly told one of the Metro Nashville folks that when I first heard it, I knew it was gunshots, so I just went to the back room in the back of the house because we hear that frequently.
Wow.
And that's sad, too. But Metro Nashville PD has been awesome, folks. Sometimes some folks give them a hard time, but the South Precinct has worked with us tremendously. They worked with us when you look at the data. We had, this time last year, we had no murders. This year so far, we've had 2. One arrest was made thanks to the help of Metro Nashville PD working very closely with our detectives, and just a few hours after it occurred, an arrest was made. It was a juvenile who came from there to here, got in an argument with another patron at one pizza retail place. The gentleman there left and went to another one to move away from it. They followed him there, and a juvenile male from metropolitan Nashville, Antioch area, with a stolen gun, shot and killed him. And then the other one was the sad situation with the estranged husband coming here from Georgia and arguing with the estranged wife, and then he chose to shoot her. She survived for a couple of days and passed away, so that technically is a murder. And that case is cleared too, because he shot himself and took his own life. But, you know, we can't let those kinds of things divide us and define us as a community. And that's what I loved about Tuesday night. There was a lot of folks within the community, and if you looked around, a lot of folks were smiling and having a good time. That's what it's all about.
Chief, I got a chance to talk to Lieutenant Goins the day after, and it definitely affects everyone, especially those involved with it. So
yes, it does.
I will absolutely agree with you. We are very blessed to have those men here, and I agree. They were protected. They were watched over.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Codes Department, Randolph Salyers.
Evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. The monthly report for July 2019 is as follows. We issued 25 single-family permits, single-family dwellings. We issued 11 commercial building permits. There were 15 miscellaneous permits issued, 12 sign permits issued, 1 grading, 5 other permits to include additions and remodels. The total number of permits for the month were 69 at a sum total of $7,431,000. Single family dwelling plumbing permits for the month were 27 for residential, and there were 8 commercial plumbing permits for the month of July. Mechanical permits, there were 26 single family dwelling and 9 commercial permits issued for mechanicals. Complaints called in for the month, there was 103 tall grass, 18 junk cars in the yard, 51 others, to include numerous violations we encounter. Building inspections on the month, there were 394. Our monthly revenue with impact fees was $87,390.81. The year-to-date total is $826,254.90. The total number of single-family permits issued year-to-date have been 90. Same time last year was 196. Total number of permits issued this year-to-date have been 298. Any questions?
I have a comment. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule and spending with me, you and Garland.
Yes, sir.
We rode around the community. We spoke to a couple citizens on some issues, and it was more of a we're putting the fires out as they come in, as Chris would say, the chief. But codes, it's a little different. There's some things that take so much time and effort to get the ball rolling, and that was, I think, the way you explain things. It really helped, because as the citizens bring issues to us, as aldermen, we think you can just fix it tomorrow. So I've seen firsthand how some of the long-term effect,
Right.
it takes time, but I really do appreciate it. We ended the day with a nice lunch and good conversation, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
It's a process with codes.
It is.
get
I
there.
wish it were simpler. I wish we could just flip a switch or aim a hose at it and put the fire out like Chief goes, like you say. But
You
we-
and your team are on it. We talk regularly, so
Yes,
y'all are all over it. So thank you.
I'm glad to know that sometimes when we do get calls from the elected officials that we already are aware of and we're dealing with, it's just sometimes residents get frustrated in that they call today and they think tomorrow, or the next day, it should be taken care of. But there is a legal process, as our legal team knows, that we have to follow those rules and regulations, and sometimes it's frustrating, and a lot of times it really takes some serious efforts to get some things done.
And a lot of these are state issued or state mandated regulations, so we have to comply with the state.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a long process before we can really do a legal action against a homeowner or a business owner that's not taking care of it.
And that's something I truly hate. I mean, I hate to have to go that route. Honestly, I do. But sometimes that's what you have to do.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a great evening.
Parks and Recreation, Mr. David McGowan.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, thank you. You have the parks numbers for this past month, July. We've gone ahead and added the maintenance numbers back in there. You'll see the maintenance help desk tickets at 47, the man hours at 520. Next month, we'll also be tracking the overtime. We have that tracked. We just failed to put it in there this month. You see also under that, the projects, we try to pick out the bigger maintenance projects that we focus on during the month. So that's a list of those: water, sewer, couple projects at Fire 1 and 2, and the police department. You see our past events: July 4th celebration and July 20th was the first annual block party. Had good turnouts, great turnouts at both of those. Despite the rain, seems like we are always getting hit with the rain. So one of these days we're going to pull that off without that. July 26th was Music in the Park. Upcoming events, August 12th is the baseball, softball. Fall season begins. I think they have well over 130 sign-ups as of now.
140 now.
140. Well better than the spring, which you guys know fall is always harder to get the numbers. So that's a move in the right direction. August 24th is the Greenway Anniversary 5K. Mark Dodd is going to be our guest speaker. Upcoming events, August 15th is the upcoming meetings, Senior Advisory at 4:30, and August 19th, Park and Rec at 6 p.m. Yesterday, I don't know if you guys are aware, we were awarded the check for the dog park grant. So I just want to give a couple of thanks to Randy Boyd and the Boyd Foundation, the mayor and this board for giving us that opportunity to go out and try to secure that for the city. City administration, Kyle Bruce, thank you guys. City engineer, Adam, and then Ann, Monteque, Felicia, Bethany, Kathy, Park and Rec maintenance teams, and Randy, John, Andrew, Derek, Brandon, Justin, Nathan, Branson, and Webb. Without those guys, it wouldn't be possible.
That's right.
Any questions?
Just want to comment here. 4th of July was great. Lots of people were there. The weather was great for us. It wasn't unbearably hot, but we didn't have rain, thankfully. And then block party for the first year, that was great until the storm showed up, but still we had a good turnout. And then, with Music in the Park, Alderman Noah and I were sitting back rocking with the rest of them. It was probably about 50 people down there.
Yeah, the block party, once it started getting nasty, it got nasty quick. 5 to 7 was pretty decent weather. About 7:30, we think we saw the ark come by, so we started looking for the animals behind it, because once it started, it did not stop.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
More of a comment. I remember the conversation. We were standing there, and you're like, "It's here." It just came up, and it was sat right on us.
Yes. About the time we started making our rounds, just making people aware to keep their eye on the sky, it cut loose.
That's
And
right.
once it did, it didn't stop all night long.
But it worked out well. Everyone got out safely, and
They did. Yes,
the groups did a great job.
It was a good time. Looking forward to the next one because we did have a good turnout, and we were excited to see what was going to come of it.
And I do have one question. With it looks like the merge with maintenance and parks. How's that working out?
It's good. I don't foresee any growing pains because we've all been together. Majority of us have been there 6 years minimum anyway.
Right.
So we've all worked together in the past with no issues. I don't foresee anything really
Good.
that we can't work through.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, David. Finance Department, Ms. Phyllis Rogers.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Aldermen. Tonight's report is for the month of June, which is the end of our fiscal year. These are kind of preliminary numbers, and the auditors, when they get done, will be bringing you the full financial reports, usually the end of November, 1st of December, and we'll get final numbers because we're still waiting on various checks and invoices and stuff to be booked for the 2018-19 year. But for the general fund, we anticipate that revenues will be exceeding expenditure by approximately $1.7 million. Local sales tax, we've collected approximately $8.4 million, which is $774,000 better than what we budgeted, and $478,000 better than this time last year. For the State Street Aid Fund, revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $96,000. For the Stormwater Fund, revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $165,000. And for our Water Sewer Fund, revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $3.1 million. The second page is our balances in our various bank accounts. And the third page is a comparison to prior year. On the general fund, our revenues were up approximately $822,000, and our expenses were up approximately $1.4 million. For the Water Sewer Fund, revenues were up about $815,000, and expenses were down about $56,000. And for the tap fees were up $216,000 over prior year. Any questions?
I have more of a comment. In the workshop, you were discussing the changing with SunTrust banks and the interest, and that's a benefit to the city with the interest growth. Does that go into the bottom line of the budget, or is that factored in there?
It goes into the general fund. Basically, it goes into the reserves if we don't overspend during the year.
Okay.
It'll just go into the reserves. Just similar to this $1.7 million that where our revenues exceed expenditures, it'll just go into the reserves, which is basically into balance in your bank account.
And looking at that, I mean, that could be numbers $50,000 to $100,000 a year. Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. Moving on to Water Treatment Plant, Mr. Greg Purcell.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board. We have the July report here. You have it in your packet. In the month of July, we treated 133.3 million gallons of water. The water plant delivered 107.5 million gallons of water to the citizens of Laverne. That's an average of 4.3 million gallons per day treated and 3.5 million gallons per day delivered. Also, in the month of July, we collected and analyzed 42 bacteriological samples, with all of them passing. Also in July, the TOC removal was 54.2%. The requirement's 15. That's 3.6 times better than the requirement. I got a few things here next, but I want to give a few abbreviations of what I'm going to say. Milligrams per liter, MGL, that's milligrams per liter. That's the concentration of whatever we're looking for in a liter of water. MCL is maximum contaminant level. Those are set by the EPA. And with that, in July, the average iron, which is a metal, which can cause staining in, clothes and stuff like that. You see a discolored water, was 0.01 milligrams per liter, with the MCL being 0.3 milligrams per liter. That's about 30 times better than what's required. And also in July, the average manganese, which is another metal, can cause staining to the water, stuff like that, was 0.022 milligrams per liter, and the MCL is 0.50. Just a little better than 50% better than the MCL. Also, in July, the average turbidity was 0.08 NTUs, which is nephelectrometric, turbidity units. I always mess it up, I ain't gonna lie. It's basically measuring the cloudiness of the water. The MCL is 0.30 milligrams per liter. That's a little better than about 70% lower than the MCL. Just wanted to give that information. We haven't shared that before, and we'll try to continue to pass on that information of a few achievements there, some things that we're doing. A few maintenance items that were done in June. All preventative maintenance items were completed. We installed a new vacuum pump on the new side of the plant. We repaired a blowdown on the old side, something simple to fix. The intake valves were replaced at the intake. We actually worked and partnered with the contractor and gave a little bit of assistance when they needed a hand. As you all know, we started the unidirectional flushing in the last week of May. We've been able to get that information out to the public on the streets. Thanks to the city staff and Ann for posting that on Facebook every week, getting that out. We're greatly appreciative. In the month of July, we put 184,859 gallons of water on the ground, a little less than last month, but we had a couple other things come up. In the month of June, we had 2 customer complaints. One was pressure. After going out, we noticed that it was the pressure relief valve at the home, and the other one was discoloration. They were on a dead end, or are on a dead end. We flushed the hydrant and then put them on a schedule to monitor that and keep flushing for them. Any questions?
Yes. Can you just update us as far as the progress with the unidirectional flushing program, how far we are in that process citywide?
We are just over 50% done. We expect another 4 to maybe 6 weeks, depending on some weather and if something comes up with the plant. But we're expecting about 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. We'll be done. So about mid-September.
And during that time with the flushing, if you're flushing on someone's street or right in their area, whenever they're using the water, they may notice some discoloration because that kind of cleans out that area. So can you talk just a little bit about that so that those that may be watching this can know what to expect? Because I know I've gotten some phone calls on it, and I've referred them over to you guys. So
yeah, when we're out flushing, what we're trying to do is scour the pipes, clear it out of anything that could be in the line. What a resident may see, especially when washing their clothes, when you go to wash your clothes, if you see that we're on your street, I would wait till the end of the day to wash your clothes, give it time to settle back out. And if you do see, some cloudy water, dirty water, or even, if you're washing clothes, you can call the water plant. We do have something to help remove the stains out of your clothes because of this. If you do see, in your sink that it's dirty, wait till, the end of the day, or wait just a little while till we're off that street and flush your lines in your home for about 15 to 20 minutes. If it doesn't clear up, flush it again. If it still doesn't clear up, give us a call. We'll come out and investigate.
And when you're saying for them to flush it, that's just opening up their own tap and letting it run for...
Yes, sir. Opening up their own tap, letting the water flow through their home.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yep.
And I have a question on the green leaf filter number 5. It's out of service, waiting. What's the status on that?
The status on that is we're waiting on some final quotes to come in, and we'll get that to the city.
So you're just waiting on that?
Yes, sir.
And then on the fluoride pump number 1, is it a similar situation?
It is. With that, we have to get a quote and order one.
Okay.
We've had a few other things take precedence.
And I don't know if I understood you correctly. Was it 4 million gallons a day?
I'm sorry, sir.
When you were speaking, was it 4 million gallons a day we were using?
It was.
You were
we
processing?
treated 4.3 million gallons a day,
And we used 3.5?
Yes, sir.
So our reserve would be, 500,000 gallons?
Yes, sir. A lot of that is to do with washing filters,
Okay.
the processing the pulsators,
Gotcha.
Cleaning the sludge out of it, going to the lagoon. That's where the majority of that comes from.
Good.
I really appreciate the equipment process status report that you put in here because it tells you at a glance what is in service, what's outstanding, and whether or not it's in the budget and everything. There's only 2 items on that, and it's it's a part of the capital improvement plan that's already in place. So it's very helpful to me. So I wanted to thank you for that.
And detailed. It's detailed. I mean, when we know nothing about the operations of the water plant internal, I don't know what a fluoride pump is, but we can go in here and question why is it out or why is it down, and then the explanations. That really helps, and that helps the citizens too improve their knowledge of the plant itself.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you for
Thank
everything
y'all.
you and your staff's
Ho,
doing.
ho, ho.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, sir.
Alderman Church had mentioned a couple months ago that we were on the right path, and I just wanted to bring that back up. But also, I wanted to call you out in public and tell you and your guys, thank you so much. I speak for the seniors. I speak for David. You all brought your own grill, your own gas, your own burgers, your own buns. You came down, and our seniors gained about 5 pounds apiece with all the food. You did all the cooking. Can't thank you enough. So, speaking for the seniors, thank you very much.
We thank y'all. We enjoy going down there, and thanks to Melissa and the staff there who prepared a lot of the side dishes and stuff. It was a good event, and we had a good time. We always enjoy going to the senior center.
Always glad to have you.
It's a lot of fun. So
Thank you.
thank y'all.
Thank you. Public Works Department. Garland?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Alderman. This will be for the month of July. We had a total of requests for pickup brush. It was 75. We picked up a total of 1,305 with residents with 96 loads of about 288,000 pounds. I think in the last month we've probably done about 600,000. We're getting close to catching up. 262 hours with the workhouse program with 136 work orders. In the fleet, we had 27 vehicle repairs, 25 in-house, 2 were outsourced, 16 preventive maintenance, 7 equipment repairs, 9 fire department repairs with a total of 24 hours.
Got a question for Chief. What was the billing rate when we were outsourcing the fire department equipment maintenance?
$96 an hour.
So that's a couple
Plus-
$1,000 that was saved by being able to do it in house. So I appreciate your
Oh,
team
yeah, it was,
and the training that they've received, so they'd be qualified to do that work. That's fantastic.
he's doing a great job on it. I'm not going to tell him don't overwhelm yourself, but I think we're working it out and keeping everybody else going too.
That's good.
I also want to thank you and your team for as far as the extra work y'all been doing with the brush removal. It's not been a fun process. We've had trucks go down, get trucks back in, go back down. People all across the city were, with all the storms, a lot of brush. You guys have been covering it. I drive through the city left and right, and I can see that change
Going
happening.
down a lot. We see the numbers there, 288,000.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
That's
That's a lot. And
a
so
lot of brush.
you and your guys are tackling it. So
Yeah,
we
still
thank
got
you for that.
all the grass and the tall weeds and this, that, and the other.
And Garland, I have a statement. You also was attending with Randolph and myself, speaking to some homeowners, and I want the citizens to understand the sidearm tractor. It's down, and that's an issue that Garland explained to me. There's some warranty issues. There's some. I've seen these guys with my own eyes out trying to take care of some of the complaints, the high grass on the shoulders at the bridge areas. They're out there with weed eaters, and because the equipment is down, so they are doing the best they can do. And as we continue to do that, it wears that equipment out because that equipment's not made for that. So as we continue to move forward in the community, this guy is his team. Like I said, they're out there doing things that the sidearm would normally do. They're doing it with a weed eater, and the calls have came in, and you hear the calls when they're negative, but in your defense, you should also hear the calls that are positive. The citizens see that too. The citizens see your guys out there with the weed eaters doing something that is normally done with, a $50,000 tractor, and they're out there with a $1,000 weed eater. So just keep pushing, and hopefully, I know you're on that repair. You're on top of it, and it has nothing to do with us. It's a factory issue, and as long as the
They're working through it right now.
They're working through it. That's right, and we're not the only city. There's several other cities that bought the same piece of machinery that have the same problem. So Laverne we're not alone in that situation. So I just wanted to share that with you.
I was going to ask you the other night at National Night Out, but you was busy slinging hot dogs. Do you talk directly to the people down at Florence Road? Do you do that, or somebody else do it?
The drivers do.
What's the scuttlebutt on getting that machine, closing, not taking
They've
anymore?
got a company that they've hired to come in to
Well, that was
mulch
my
everything
next.
up, but then I was talking with one of the drivers this afternoon. He said they've had some problems up there and they've left.
So the company they hired's left, because I noticed the other day when I went down there that somebody had been doing it. I didn't know if you had direct contact.
No, they hired a company to come in.
But man, it's getting way out there. Thank you, sir.
Now, that didn't have nothing to do with the ramp being closed that morning either.
And we did not receive notification about that to pass along to the residents. Otherwise, we would have.
Usually the guy will call me when they're going to have them shut down, but I didn't get no call. But I think it was from the monsoon that came through for about 3 hours.
Yeah, just
and
push
they
back
had it
their
dug
work.
out, and I think they had no choice but to leave it closed till they get it filled back in.
Right, or push off that work another day or two.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Utilities Department, Mr. Michael Dietz.
Mayor, Alderman, good afternoon. For the month of July, the Water Department had a total of 123 work orders. Main line repairs were 4. Service line repairs were 8. Our cleanups for the month was 11. Had an estimated gallons of water not sold of 687,168. Overtime hours were 73. Meter Department had a total of 366 work orders. New meter sets were 23. Meter swaps for the month was 61. The customer requests for the meters to be tested and reports to follow were 7. Meters tested were 4. Miles of pipe walk for leak detection was 17.72. We actually combined a couple guys of our water maintenance crew to help with that. So hopefully that number will increase next month, trying to cover a little bit more in the city. Leaks found were 11. Tennessee 1 calls answered were 290. Meter Department overtime was 14. Sewer Department had a total of 123 on the work orders. Service calls were 69. Pump stations 54. Our final grinder pump inspections for the month was 3. Manhole inspections and repairs were 108. Grinder pump rebuild 6 with 45 and a half hours overtime. Any questions?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Stormwater Department, Mr. Adam Leach.
Hey, Mayor, Board, how are y'all? For the month between June 16th and July 15th, we had 20 calls that generated 8 work orders. We currently have 3 work orders in progress. We closed 2 during that time. Our street sweeper was down for a couple of days for repair. There were 17 work days, 5 rain days. Everybody remembers those pretty well, apparently. Office closed for 1 day. We conducted 131 construction inspections during this time. Major projects, we did some ditching along near Shreveman, which is fairly noticeable. We had a violation of actual national laws with FEMA. Someone was stockpiling soil in the floodplain, and they failed to heed the repeated verbal and written warnings, so we had to go remove that from their property for them. Tree cutting and removal after the storms had quite a bit of trees down, so that kind of messed up our workflow, but we did remove quite a bit of trees from drainage ways. That's really all I've got.
Hey, Adam, on the violation with FEMA, that was a private individual.
Yes, sir.
Do we bill them for that?
It is an option under the city ordinance that we could bill them. It has typically not been done in the past. We did basically confiscate their about $1,000 worth of topsoil. So it definitely stung, but we could have charged them if we so desired.
Was that a business or a private entity?
A private entity, a homeowner.
Okay.
Thank you. Human Resources, Ms. Cheryl Lewis-Smith.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Aldermen. Here is the Human Resource Report for July. We had 7 external jobs posted with 76 applicants. Actual new hires 3. 1 internal job posted with 1 applicant. We had 3 resignations, 5 worker compensation claims, 4 liability claims, 86 care here appointments with 1 no-show. There were 414 enrollees for the month of July. 5 HRAs were conducted with 3 short-term disability claims for a grand total of claim dollars of $213,415. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to old business, second reading ordinance 2019-24. An ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2018-2019 general fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor Brown. Need a second.
Second.
Second from Alderman Jones. Alderman Church.
Aye.
Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes. Second reading, ordinance 2019-25. An ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2018-2019 State Street Aid Fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion we approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderman Church. Need a second.
Aye.
And have a second from Alderman Jones. Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Church.
Aye.
Alderman No.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes. Second reading ordinance 2019-26, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2018-2019 Senior Citizens Fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor Brown.
I second.
Second from Alderman No. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Church.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes. Second reading, ordinance 2019-27, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2018-2019 Streets Capital Project Fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Ma'am, make a motion we approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderman Church. Need a second.
I second.
Second from Vice Mayor Brown. Alderman Church.
Aye.
Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones. Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes. Second reading, ordinance 2019-28, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2018-2019 Parks Capital Projects Fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor Brown. Need a second.
I second.
Second from Alderman Church. Alderman Church.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman No.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes. Second reading ordinance 2019-29, an ordinance to amend Title 15, Chapter 8, Section 15-801 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding the adoption of state traffic statutes. Need a motion to approve or deny?
I make a motion we approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderman Church. Need a second.
I second.
Have a second from Vice Mayor Brown. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Church.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Second reading passes. Second reading ordinance 2019-30, an ordinance to amend Title 15 and Title 3 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding electronic traffic citation regulations and fees. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderman No. Need a second.
I second.
Have a second from Alderman Church. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Church.
Aye.
Alderman Jones. Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes. Second reading ordinance 2019-31, an ordinance to amend Title 15, Chapter 6 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding parking. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor Brown. Need a second.
I second for discussion.
Have a second from Alderman Church.
The changes to this are just what's highlighted in red, Bruce.
Hang on, let me get down to that. Okay, what's your question?
What's highlighted in the red.
Yes, sir. Those are the changes that are being proposed.
In policing this, Chief, I'm sure your guys have plenty to do, but it looks like you get a lot of calls on parked cars in like the neighborhoods and things.
We do.
So is there a method that we can help the law enforcement? Is that, what can we do to solve that problem? School's back in session now, and we have the school buses running.
Hold on, that would be a separate outside of, as far as addressing parking on the street, that's throughout the whole community would be separate from this specific ordinance, which addresses it specifically in planned density residential. It's not citywide.
Well, it's really how you interpret. Can you help us with that, Evan?
Well, it outlines it here. It's, I mean, in the red.
I read it. I see what it says. That's why I was asking the police chief.
Well, you were asking about how we can address that citywide. This isn't citywide with this second reading. This is specifically for planned density residential developments, PDRs.
Okay.
So it's not citywide.
Okay, Chief. So as this rule is read by the mayor, how are we going to police that?
We'll do like we currently do any other time. Parking violations are very low priority unless they are blocking access for emergency vehicles such as ambulances, especially fire apparatus, because we have some rather large. We try to do as much as we can warning.
Right.
If you find a sticker on your window, then that's a warning.
Yes, sir.
We try not to unless we absolutely have to, simply because if you're having a birthday party for a child, if you're having family and friends coming because there was someone who passed away and they're coming to bring food or coming to be there to help, or anything and everything, graduation parties, etc., we try to be as understanding as we possibly can be because, honestly, that's very low priority.
Right.
The regular, everyday calls for service, the overwhelming majority are much more important than that.
And that's what I was asking the question for us to make the change to this, because it is such a low priority. I was just wanting a little more explanation.
And with this, as it's written, it would allow that on-street parking. It specifically says on-street parking shall not be prohibited in a PDR development. So this would be something that's already established through planning. It would be established by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. So there's no enforcement at that point for the police department because it's not prohibited.
The only issue with it for us would be if someone over here got a warning and someone over here didn't. Well, why didn't you do it over there? Well, the law's different over there.
Right.
That's what my concern was. I just thought it would be a double-edged sword for you guys. You know, we're going to change it here, and then over here, it's okay. So I just feel that there's so much going on right now. I'm just concerned about we're making such an importance of the parking.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Alderman Church.
Aye.
Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Second reading passes. Second reading ordinance 2019-32, an ordinance to amend the Laverne zoning ordinance to increase the allowed building height in certain zoning districts. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on June 25th, 2019. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve. We need a second.
I second.
Second from Alderman Church. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones. Alderman Church.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes. Consent agenda. Need a motion to approve or deny.
I make a motion we approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderman Church. Need a second.
A second.
Second from Vice Mayor Brown. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to new business. First reading ordinance 2019-33, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 28, parcel 1.01, consisting of approximately 9.5 acres located between Sanford Road and Cheney Boulevard, adjacent to 197 Sanford Road, from an A agricultural zoning district to a R3 high-density residential zoning district. This received an unfavorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on June 25th, 2019, and I'll make a motion that we deny. Need a second. And a second from Vice Mayor Brown. Alderman Church.
Aye.
Alderman No.
Aye to deny, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Alderman Jones. Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes to deny on first reading. First reading ordinance 2019-34, an ordinance to amend Title 20, Chapter 2, Section 20-208 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding parks and recreation user fees. This was discussed at the workshop. Need a motion to approve or deny.
Make a motion we approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderman Church. Need a second.
A second.
Second from Vice Mayor Brown. Alderman Jones. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Church.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to motion to appoint or remove board and committee members. First up, we have the Economic Development Advisory Committee. We have one term vacant, and I will nominate that we place Daniel Paschke? Is that how you pronounce it, Bruce? Were we able to find out what that last name, how to pronounce
Works
it?
for me, yeah.
That's our...
Alphabet.
So, all in favor? Aye. Moving on to Local Emergency Planning Committee. One term is vacant, and we have Kevin Lawler, who is the new EMA Public Safety Director for Rutherford County, to fill that position.
I make a motion that we approve. Kevin?
Well, with that one, it's
Oh, it's just appointed?
It's appointed and the whole board votes, so.
Sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to Alderman comments. Alderman Jones.
I'd first of all like to apologize for not making it to the night out and due to illness. And I'd like for everyone to take into consideration, I had a close friend of mine, I call her a close friend. We've been working together for quite some time. She's a nurse manager with the VA at our Charlotte clinic, and the individual that was killed in Harding was her mother. And we got word of that the other night, and it's devastating to see someone leave home in the morning and not make it back that night. She had planned on retiring in December with 38 years of service with the state as an executive assistant in the warden's office. So I would like for you to please just keep the Johnson family in your prayers as they go through this now. Like it was said on the piece, when you're getting together and you're trying to put together a retirement party, and all of a sudden it turns into a funeral. It's just a hard thing to do. So I'd ask for y'all to keep her and the rest of the kids. I have 3 grandkids, 3 kids. Not only did a young lady see her mother found out her mother had passed away, a mother found out her daughter had passed away because the great-grandmother was there also. So just keep the family in your prayers and thoughts. Thank you.
Alderman Church.
It's been a very challenging last couple of weeks for myself and my family. My stepdad is, we got a call, and he was picked up in Murfreesboro by the ambulance service. He was a little disoriented. They brought him to Murfreesboro Hospital, and then after running some tests, they sent him directly to St. Thomas West. So we are dealing with some pretty, we don't know the outcome. We're continuing to pray. Cancer is something that has taken a lot of people in my family. If you'll keep my families in your prayers and my mom and my stepdad, it'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Alderman No.
Well, I want to talk about happy stuff. National Night Out was great. The senior center will be closed Monday, but we'll be reopening Friday. We're going to have a birthday party for, I guess, Laverne's oldest citizen, Miss Jane Vales, who's going to be 104. Mm-hmm. She has asked for absolutely nothing but birthday cards. So if anybody in the city would like to get a card and sign it and bring it down there. Also, I want to follow up with what David had said, the baseball program. Last year we had 84. Right now we're sitting on 140, and it looks like we're getting some other things coming in, so a good positive thing. So that's all I got.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Thank you for breaking the happy ice there for me, because I want to talk about happy things too. I am so excited that our pageant, Miss Laverne pageant, is coming up in September. I know that we have all kinds of the best looking children you will ever see right here in the city of Laverne. So I encourage all you parents, grandparents, and cute kids to go ahead and put in your application, get your sponsors, find your dress, and look good, and the little boys their suits. I would like to talk just for a minute specifically to the high schoolers. Miss Laverne pageant potential contestants. I know high school is a hard time in your life, and you may not feel the confidence inside to know that you're beautiful, but we need your beautiful smiling faces. I think that the hesitation is that every high school girl I know is super insecure, but even if you don't know it, we know that you're beautiful. So please dig deep, find it in your heart to represent Laverne and be an ambassador for the other girls that will follow behind you. It is a very important role. It's not only about a pretty face, but as our pageants historically have shown us, these girls are bright, successful students with a very bright future, and that's what touches my soul more than anything. So please, if you would just encourage one another, come and apply in groups, bring a best friend. We would love to see you. We need more teenagers. Thank you.
That covers the pageant. Well, I do want to piggyback Alderman No's comments with the ball league. The ball league, it's almost double what it was in the spring to the fall. So that is amazing success. I heard they just recently picked a great group of coaches. So trying to get those people in there to mentor those kids and let them have fun and have a good time out there. So that's great. Want to thank the Rescue Squad, Box 100, as well as Rutherford County EMS for coming out with National Night Out. It was definitely a great event. I think, Garland, y'all ran out of hot dogs. Y'all had, 800? Y'all ran out. So, I mean, that shows attendance right there. Remind everybody about the 24th with the 5K at the Greenway. That's from 9 to 10:30. August 23rd through the 30th is the library book sale. I know Miss Donna wasn't here tonight, but that is something that she really loves to plug. You can find a lot of good deals. Don't forget about the Sonic Car Hop, 2 to 6 o'clock. Not 6 o'clock, Chief Clark. And Chief Clark will have on roller skates for us, I think.
I used to work for the skating rink for 6 years while I was in high school.
Chief Walker, that sounds like confirmation right there.
confirmation for him, but I told you I can't afford a broken hip.
Just please remember to bring school supplies down. We want to fill that bus, and any tips are going to go to help with that. Want to thank Representative Sparks for his invitation for our board to meet with Minister Zhu, the Chinese delegation. That was a great opportunity. Like he had mentioned, we sat down with Sinomax, talked with several others, and we're seeing a relationship form. So this definitely wasn't the end of that. Also want to thank Randy Boyd for coming here to Laverne to present yesterday the $25,000 check for the dog park. Staff did an amazing job on getting the activities throughout the community going so that people were excited and motivated, and they saw that to award us that grant. So thank you to all of the staff that was involved with that. With that, that is it for me, so I call this meeting adjourned.